Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We will move on to treasurer's report. You gonna do that, Scott?
What?
You do the treasurer's report?
We have treasure.
Colleen, okay.
This is at the end of March 2019. Total checking and savings, $263,141.85. Total liability and equity, $15,050.58. The profit and loss. Income is at $24,150.87 at 5th of March. And expenses were at $36,649.91. So a net loss of $12,499.04 per month. Any questions?
Any questions of the treasurer? Thank you, Colleen. Then we will need a motion to accept, what question? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Just throw something at me, Catherine. It's kind of a long ways to look here.
Captain Olshenko, District 8. I just have a question to Colleen. Is there a rent? I don't see a rent expense here. Am I missing something?
A rent expense?
Rent?
Is there a rent expense? Yeah.
Yep, thank you. I missed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Colleen? I gotta look both ways now and down the middle.
Move approval?
Move for approval, second. Oh, question, Dustin.
I suppose I could just second it. I was just gonna ask Colleen, what is the name of the party on our FEC registration? Okay.
Thank you. We had a motion, I believe, will you remake that motion? We'll let Dustin slip underneath it. So the motion to approve the treasurer's report was made, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will vote, voice vote. Those in favor of approval of the treasurer's report signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We will move to an update from the executive director. Scott?
Thank you, Chair Larson. I will hope to be as brief as possible, and I will be back up here in a few minutes during new business to go over the delegate selection plan as well. That should be a robust discussion. I do want to take, before I begin, just a few minutes of personal privilege, to use parliamentarian terms, to thank Warren for his great leadership over the past 8 months, 10 months. 10 months, right?
Seems like a century.
It seems like a century. I do want to thank Warren for his leadership. He came in this was known well throughout the country among other state party chairs and DNC members of, there tends to be 3 types of people who are chairs of state parties. People who are professional operatives, who have chosen this for some reason as a career, people who know a lot of rich people and can raise a lot of money really quickly, and people who kind of fall ass backwards into it. And Warren was, unfortunately, he wasn't the second one. He was the third. But he did come at a very, very unique and high-profile time for the party with a robust coordinated campaign, a robust statewide and legislative races, and handled it with professionalism. He came after, on Election Day, dusted himself off, and hit the grindstone again, And I can say without reservation that the party is in much better position than it was 10 months ago, and a lot of that is for your leadership. So I'd just like to thank him for that. Whoever replaces him today will have enormous shoes to fill. I would like to also kind of follow up on my update from January of 2019 in Valley City. When we were last gathered, we had said that the party was planning on bringing on new staff and creating some new positions, and since that time we have done that. We obviously have our party affairs director, Tyler Hogan, who's in the back, and his job is essentially to work with you guys to build up your districts, helping find new members, helping with the logistical stuff that comes with it, helping navigate district conventions or district reorgs, district business. So he is your point person for building up your districts, whether it be a district that needs building up or a district that needs growing. He is your person. Next, many of you already know him, but Kyle McKee is our finance director. He was with the party in 2018. He was the field organizer for District 41, correct, Kyle? 41. So he had a great role in canning Al Carlson. But he is our finance director, really working with individual donors right now, really took the lead on the dinner we'll be having tonight. So if you haven't received a call from him, you will be. So he is our finance director. And then finally, we have Allison Jones in the back. She is our digital communications and digital director. She oversees our comm strategy, our day-to-day tactical strategies in terms of communications, both through traditional, earned, and social medias, working closely with the legislature this year to make sure that there's a two-pronged approach to things, both the political as well as the more governmental communications, and making sure that the party is helping out with messaging. So we have and they're all based right now at the Kennedy Center in Bismarck, so feel free to stop by anytime. This was mentioned during policy executive committee, and I will address it as well for policy committee. Two, there has been discussions over the past couple of months regarding data and a data agreement with the DNC. You might have saw some things on national publications with things. I can assure you that these conversations were more dramatic than, were not as dramatic as the press had led on. It was just, there were two sides at different ends, and they were committed to finding a middle, and I can say that state parties and the DNC were able to find that happy middle point in terms of data. So long story short, the party still owns all of its data to sell or swap to campaigns, to our progressive allies, to our labor allies. We still are a member of the voter file co-op, which provides somewhere between $500 to $1,000 every quarter with things, and we have signed on to a new data agreement, and in turn, that's where the $10,000 a month from the DNC comes from. In terms other updates in terms of fundraising, we are, as we said in the finance plan of January, by the end of by mid-April, we were supposed to be at around $89,750, partially because of strong Century clubs, but also for support for the governor's dinner. We are now at $104,000 for the year, so we are above goal. So, just a couple of other things, and then I will turn it over. We are starting to recruit for both statewide and down ballot legislative races. We have started that. We have started to have conversations with candidates regarding that process. We have seen some interest. We expect a strong slate of candidates, and we're going to do everything we can, like in 2018, to have candidates that we can get excited behind, that we can focus on, and more importantly, that we can be reminded of consistently that we need to focus on electing instead of other things that we think at the time are important, but are not important to the mission of getting more Dem-NPLers elected in North Dakota. But this does lead to the districts. One of the things I've heard repeatedly as we've talked to districts and activists and stakeholders really throughout the past couple of weeks and months is the need to a shift in culture in terms of local races and local races. I like to use District 1 as an example, as a district that has made so much progress over the past year and a half. When I first got here, Krista, you're having trouble getting one person to a meeting. And we have gone from that to a slate of 3 candidates for the first time in 25 years to finding 1,500 Democrats who lived in Williston. Son of a gun! Son of a gun. However, for a lot of districts, we still face math problems. And that's unfortunate. But, the thing I wanted to relate to all of you, as I've talked to you all individually, is we need a fundamental rethinking on how we view municipal and countywide levels. They are just as, in most cases, especially in the major cities, whether it be Williston, Dickinson, Minot, Bismarck, they are just as prominent and just as high profile as legislative races. More importantly, for those in more rural areas, they're great stepping stones to create good policy. So as you start, many of you are new district chairs, I would encourage you, if your odds, still have a recruitment committee and still utilize the state party and still recruit candidates for those local races, because I'd argue the Dickinson City Commission or the Stark County County Commission are just as prominent as the districts 35 and 36, with all due respect to the former representative from Dickinson. But always be recruiting, always be organizing, and always be fundraising. There's no off season, and we have great opportunities this next cycle to take the Fargo City Commission. Chris, we're one seat away from a majority, right? So we're going to take out Tony Greenberg next year. We are 1 seat away from taking the Bismarck City Commission with progressive leadership. We shouldn't have any seats there by the numbers, but we do because we organize, we talk on issues, and we have strong recruitment there. So that's just a point to mention after talking to all of you. Finally, and many of you who are in executive committee know what I'm going to be talking about, and that is the Century Club update. Right now, we have over 800 members in the Century Club. We did see some fall off in March of 2019. The big reason for that was in March of 2018, we had a lot of new members for the Joe Biden event, and this was on purpose. It was to start a habit of getting people to join Century Club and becoming recurring new donors in 2019, 2020, and beyond. I can say that we have had numerous people who have renewed for the second time, correct, Kyle? Correct. And have started that, and the plan has worked. We did have some drop-off, but we were still able to end the month over 800 people, which is still very, very high. And now I do want to make the Century Club pitch. So some of you, if you're district chairs or district officers, have received a call from Warren or I over the past 2 weeks or so. And we were running the numbers a couple of weeks ago, and it came to our attention that we are leaving money on the table for not only the state party and our coordinated campaign, but for districts and district support, but also for our candidates and the candidate support. So we ran the numbers, and we see that only 41% of district officers right now are Century Club members. 41%. We can do better than that. Our goal is to get that to 100%. And as we made calls, there tends to be, I'd like to talk briefly about the 3 biggest pushbacks of that. And those pushbacks are, first one is I want to give to candidates. And we encourage you to give to candidates. We encourage you to give to candidates. They need your support, but they can't do it all on their own. They need help, both professional help, to oversee a lot of their fundraising, a lot of the logistical stuff they don't want to do, but they have to do, so they can focus on raising money, knocking on doors, talking to voters, and making their case. So one of the things we had last year that we're proud of, that your Century Club memberships helped paid for, is a caucus director, as well as organizers, and a political director who helped with our legislative candidates, and a political director and training director who helped with our statewide candidates. So I want to just, if Joan would just speak a little bit on how helpful those candidates were, that support was in 2018 in her campaign. Oh.
Thanks, Scott.
It is on.
Thanks, Scott. As a candidate who ran in the last election and in a rural district, we have a lot of ground to cover. And it was my job as minority leader to also help with candidate recruitment. But I have to tell you that the staff we had this last election was outstanding. Michael Taylor was what I would say would be one of the top caucus chair directors in any state that we have. He was out there working. We worked up until 5 minutes before the deadline in April. Just an outstanding young person. And these dollars that you put in here are so important to keep that staff available. We had people that came out from Grand Forks and helped us do door-to-door in District 23. And that's because of these dollars that are here. So you all have a sheet, an envelope in front of you with a postcard on it. And if you look at that, it says will contribute 150 or 300 or 500 or 1,000 annually, or other. And when I looked at other, and I looked down below, $20 a month would be $240 a year. Or if you want to cut that in half, $10 a month. Anything that you can give will help us staff the office, but also help all the candidates out there. Michael did an outstanding job of recruitment this year, and that was not only on his behalf, but Scott worked on that too. Josh Boucher worked on that. District chairs worked on that. Individuals, I'm sure some of you got calls from me from time to time, and we appreciate that help. But if we don't have dollars to pay for our staff, then we're not going to be able to have them. So let's take a look at that and see if we can get some more memberships today, because it's really important in our rural district to have somebody that's able to drive to Findlay, North Dakota the same day I'm walking Minnewaca, North Dakota, which are probably 70, 80 miles apart. So those volunteers are not zero paid volunteers, are field workers. They need to have a salary. They're young people out there. They're trying to earn their way into the political arena somehow. They're just wonderful out door to door. I wish I even had the mannerisms that they have door to door. They're just wonderful. So take a look at this Century Club. It's very important to us as candidates, and it will be for you as districts too.
Thank you, Madam Leader. Josh, Kylie, you want to say anything? Put you on the spot? Okay, okay. Sorry, yes.
I'm new to the program, and one of the things
So we have, oh yes, we have a video from Warren on our website right now that explains that.
Well, I didn't watch the video, I was looking for just something written, what does it say?
I'm hurt.
Sorry, Warren,
Everybody watches
but
the
I
video.
mean, okay, I watch all the time, but I just think, you know, in the past week, I've come up with 5 fundraisers I've been asked to give to from the Dems. So I'd like to know, why do we have the governors, why do we have that? Could you explain all that in the video, Warren, that I didn't watch?
No.
So our simply, you know, the governor's dinner, which is coming up later tonight, and if you join the Century Club, you'll get a free membership. You'll get a free ticket, pardon me. That's our spring verdict dinner.
I know,
but-
but what I'm saying is, you don't have to explain it to me now, I'd like to have that explanation there. So there might be a lot of people who are saying, if I'm gonna give and I've only got so much, which one would be the preference, which would be the priority for the party to give to?
We're fairly flexible on that. We're American Amex, Visa, Diners Club, if that's still around. And then, so it really does support the candidates as well, and help get them over the top with that support. The other thing is, oh yes, sorry, Chris. Sam, pardon me.
Sorry. The other issue that we have with the video is, the question I get asked the most about the Century Club is, what percentage goes back to my district? What percentage goes to the state? You know, just even if we could get in writing, you know, what goes to the district, what goes to the state, what goes to the candidates, just a percentage of that would make a lot of my constituents feel a lot more comfortable.
So, we have right now, it says in the, on the card that there's a 25 rebate available that can go to.
Right, but where's the $150 go? Not the $25 that comes back to my district. I'm just saying, where's the $150 go? What percentage does that all break down to is what I'm asking.
Well, it goes to the state party, but, and it pays for salaries for staff. So
100%
we,
of it goes to the
yes.
state.
So I can say right now, we get $10,000 a month from the DNC. That allows us to pay for my salary and health insurance. That pays for the Kennedy Center, the Fargo office. It pays for a lot of the overhead. So 100% of the money that goes from the Century Club and from our other allies in labor, progressive allies, etc., that's going towards what I'd call electoral gains, whether it be press from Allison, fundraising from Tyler, candidate support at the legislative level. Did I mix it up again? District support from Tyler, fundraising from Kyle, legislative candidate support from Michael, comm strategy from Allison. As we get towards the coordinated campaign, which we're already building up for, it hires our field staff, hopefully earlier. It covers that overhead. We saw in 2014, for example, the reality is North Dakota, both on the D side and the R side, is not, for the foreseeable future, is not going to be a very attractive place for outside money. If Republicans have to spend money in North Dakota, then things are really bad for them. So it's really up to us, and I presume Rick Berg or whoever at the GOP is and saying the same exact thing. It's up to us if we want to have a strong coordinated campaign, if we want to provide candidate support. This is what's going to help us. I can say right now, you know, the avalanche of outside money that came didn't really come until August, September, October. So, but we never had to worry, for example, about expanding our staff, following our staff plan, following our coordinated campaign plan, at the same time making sure that everybody's checks cleared, because we were focusing so hard on it. And your support made that happen. And those who are members, yeah.
Like, up until this point, I didn't know 100% goes to the state party. I was under the impression that some of it went to the party, some of the state party gave it to the candidates, some of it went to the districts. No, it just goes to the staff and the state
Yes.
party.
Yep. And the 25 rebate can go to the districts.
Yep.
So our goal is to get to 100%, up from 41. The next reason people talk about why they can't give to the state party is they want to give to their district. And again, it's very important to give to your district. I'm not discouraging that, but one of the things we really emphasize at the state party level is making sure that the districts have the professional support they need with Tyler Hogan, with the $25 rebate. And we just actually I actually saw that happen just a few weeks ago in why we created this position. I want Ellie Shockley to speak briefly about this. District 39 has a bank account for the first time since there were banks. Last time I think they had a bank account, there was the gold standard. So I want to just have Ellie speak quickly on how she and Tyler were able to work together and really start the building up of that district.
So I'm the representative from Region 1, which is in the southwest, and District 39 is the physically very large district in the southwest. And it needs a lot of love, and I felt very overwhelmed and confused as to how to serve it and sort of move it along to better days. And I worked with Tyler extensively, and it was only possible because we both collaborated heavily. And the thing is, like, fees, wages for rent, food and stuff. So if we want someone like that to help us, this money helps pay for that. And so it has been invaluable in helping my region in general. District 39 is just a really good example of how concrete it can be. Not only with a big account, it has a good chunk of change in it. So that's good too.
All from rebates, might I add. All from rebates. Thank you. And then the third reason, and I can't speak because everybody is different in their situations, is the $150 a month is too much for them. And like Joan said, there are more flexible rates, but I do want to just break things down by the numbers for you all. So assuming you were to do a $12.50 a month Century Club, you divide that by 31 days, that's 40 cents a day. I know the phrase, sacrifice a cup of coffee is very, very popularly used, and I apologize to the executive committee who's going to have to hear this lame joke again. But it's not even sacrificing a cup of coffee. It's like one day a week, instead of getting the large, you get the medium size cup and save the 40 cents. So, our goal is to get as many district officers, members, and if we can do that and we can continue working with our progressive stakeholders, we can have a respectable, decent, coordinated campaign. This isn't something that we fundraise for a couple of months out of the year for. We started fundraising for the coordinated campaign in 2020 on, I think, November 7th, 2018. It takes a lot of work. We spend the money in a blink of an eye, but it does, we have a lot of red turf to defend. We have 3 Senate seats up next year that the Democratic nominee for president in 2016 got less than 30% of the vote in. We have a House seat that also was under 30% that we have to defend. But we also know that with your support and with a strong coordinated campaign, we can win those seats and we can hold those seats and we can even take over some seats. District 43, I see Jonelle Bach in the back. I think 3 years ago, Donald Trump got 41% of the vote in your district. That should not happen. She's not here, but Elisa Mitzcog, 27% presidential district, got reelected. Aaron Oban, 30%. Joan Heckerman, 34%. District 41, where we got rid of Al Carlson, 39%. Ruth Buffalo, sorry to put you on the spot, Ruth, 38. Donald Trump won that district by 15 points. We have our vendor here this week. When we were in DC, I like to tell the story. I ran into my colleague from Texas, and he's Cock of the Walk, Beto-mania, Blue Wave. You know, they gained like, I think, 10 seats in the legislature. I go up to him and goes, so what was the reddest Democratic seat you won? Oh, well, I think it was 45%. 45%. You know, yeah, I just tell, that,